a drug is a drug, and it affects your body. It affects your body. It affects your body cells.
So, Madam Joyce,
Yes.
then as usual, this is the first time somebody listening to you.
Yes.
Who is this Madam Joyce?
Madam Joyce is a psychological counselor and a career counselor. The Director Office of Career Services, but I've done a lot of counseling, a lot of psychology, and therefore I would like our listeners to listen to this talk that we have today on drugs and drug abuse, because it's very interesting to get to know some of the things that go on when someone is taking drugs, especially issues of addiction, especially issues of tolerance, and what exactly happens in the brain, and generally how drug and drug abuse affects our careers.
We had this conversation last Tuesday, Madam Joyce Mghoi.
Yes, we did.
And of course, our listener, if you're joining us, we had the same conversation on drug and substance abuse.
Yes.
We talked about bang. And we talked quite a lot. But
Yes.
Madam Joyce, there's something we never mentioned.
Yes.
What are these effects of this particular plant? Is it a plant? They call it a holy plant.
They call it a plant. Of course, it is a plant, and they use the leaves, as we said the other time, the leaves, the flowers, and even the seeds. And so it has a number of effects in the body of someone. Some people become irritable. Some people become excessively quiet. Some people become excessively talkative.
And then positive effects.
Excessive talkative.
I don't know.
Gotcha. I'm being affected from the same. Yes.
So there is a lot of euphoria. There is a lot of over talking, or over silence, depending on the person. There is a lot of delayed fatigue, and that's why I said the other time that weed is a focusing drug. If someone takes it and says nalima hii shamba leo, atalima mpaka kwa jirani, hatakuwa amechoka. There is also distortion of time and space. They don't really get to know what the time is, where they are. There is also false bravery, and some people take this and then they say, when I take this is when I be courageous enough to go and handle this and that. And that's why you have heard even some people saying sometimes that some of the crimes that are committed, they are committed by people who have taken some kind of drugs, because it gives false bravery. It also has weird dreams. They dream very funny dreams. They are irritability. They are so irritable. Mtu wa weed ukiongea kitu kidogo, they can become very aggressive. They can become very aggressive and so on. It also increases sexual appetite and enjoyment, but it lowers performance. That's what people need to know. That people who have taken drugs, even alcohol and so on, they feel like they want to have sex, yes, but then the performance is very low. They cannot be able to perform well. Hapo atuongelelei sana. Hata nimeona mumenyamaza. It also amplifies the user happy person. If someone is normally depressed, they become very happy. But if someone is normally depressed, they become more depressed. If someone is normally happy, they become even happier. So it also depends. Then it also increases the blood pressure. It increases the blood pressure, dilates the blood vessels, and that's why people who have taken weed, sometimes their eyes are red, because the blood vessels are being enlarged. There is a lot of pressure there. Then, so you can be able to see the red eyes, and it is the irritability of the blood veins, and also the way they want to dilate. It increases intestinal absorption. That's why we said the other day, people who have taken weed, they really eat a lot. because a
Appetite.
lot of food is being digested. Then there is a poor personal hygiene. At first, hygiene is excessive. They become clean and so on, but within a short time, there is poor hygiene. There is poor hygiene. Actually, there is something called hydrophobia. They don't want water. They don't want to shower. They don't want so the poor personal hygiene. We also have the shrinking of the brain. I think that one I cannot excessively emphasize because the other day I talked about it. There is hallucination and fantasy, And for the females, it decreases ovulation. It decreases ovulation. So you may find that the females that use weed, conceiving becomes a problem. Coordination, again, I mentioned it quite a bit last time. It slows coordination, and therefore you may crack a joke today, right now, atacheka baadaye. Then it also enlarges perception. Like now, someone who has taken this drug, sometimes they can see a dog and they feel like they have seen a lion. Yes. And they can also see an elephant and feel like they are seeing a dog.
A dog.
And then also it causes also cancer of the lungs. It can cause cancer of the lungs. And so it affects actually generally even attention and concentration and logical thinking. They are not able to think logically. And finally, it may cause psychosis or mental health.
Kuna mtu pale anaweza uliza hii bank kwa sababu tumesikia negative effects.
Yes.
Kunaweza kuwa na positive effect any pale.
Because sincerely, madam, I can't really tell whether it's true or not true.
Yes.
People say it is a medicinal value.
Yes.
Why should we use this thing if at all does not add any value?
People talk
to our
about
body?
it as a medicinal value because it relieves pain. People are in very excruciating pain. When they use weed, it becomes less, or they don't really feel pain. People like people who have cancer, some types of cancers that are very painful. You know, there are also cancers that are not painful. So some types of cancers that are very painful, when they take this, the pain may go down. People who are epileptic, when they take this, they may be slightly calmer or they may be slightly relaxed. People are epileptic. But as I said the other time, we cannot really defend it and say it is medicinal, so let people use, because the medicinal chemical and the chemical that is causing a lot of pain and a lot of effects has not been separated, because you are given the whole plant. You're given the leaf, you're given the flower, you're given the seed, and therefore the good chemical and the bad chemical have not been separated. The medicinal chemical and the chemical that will affect you have not been separated. So we are just saying weed is not good.
Nakumbuka ukisema iko na more than 400 chemicals.
Yes, iko na over 400 chemicals. Over 400 chemicals. So really, there are all those myths. All those myths, but we cannot really say that it is good or safe to use. As I said, it can cause psychosis. I said the other time there are people who are predisposed to psychosis. That you can see a family of people who are all mad, or 3 of the family members are mentally challenged. Because there is the predisposition there. So if there are few members of that family that are not mad, if they use weed, that madness can come out. They are predisposed. They are predisposed to mental problems or to psychosis. So it can actually lead to that.
Ndio, mimi Madam Joyce, unajua kutumia bangi, unaenda pale kwa shamba pale kidogo, unapika kitu yako pole pole bila mtu kukuona. Sasa mzazi anaweza jua kweli?
Kama mzazi anaweza jua kama unatumia. Mzazi anaweza jua. By the way, parents who are very keen would know there is something wrong with their children, even if they may not know exactly what the problem is. But they will know that their child is actually using something, or maybe there is something wrong with their children. One of the things is that I said the other day, the first thing, the eyes become red. The second thing, the mouth becomes very, very dry. The mouth becomes dry. the person does not have even proper saliva,
Yes.
it dries off even the saliva.
Yeah.
So you can be able to know. And then you can also be able to know depending on how your child was.
Yeah.
If your child was excessively quiet,
Yeah.
and now he's really talking, then there is something wrong. You get to know there is something wrong. If your child was very talkative, and then all of a sudden he's not talking, you will know there is something wrong. If your child starts dodging some things, like family gatherings, like he doesn't want to be with people, he wants to be isolated there, again, you will know there is something wrong.
Yeah.
So it is possible for parents to know that there is a change in their children. It's very possible for the parents to be able to know there is a change in their children. Now, one thing I want to say is that it doesn't matter how you hide weed.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You can hide from me that you're taking weed, but you cannot hide the effects of weed in your body. The aftermath huwezi ficha. Mimi unaweza ficha useme situmii, na naweza sema okay kama utumii ni sawa, lakini kama umeitumia na imeenda kwa mwili yako, that effect of that weed you cannot do anything about it. Once it's in your body, it's in your body. And the effects that will be there will still be seen. So as much as sometimes we say we are comfortable because nobody knows, even if you are doing something wrong, you say, lakini kwani nani anajua? Hakuna mtu anajua. But your body knows.
Yeah.
Your body knows. So we have some signs of addiction, loss of control is a sign of addiction, abandoning of hobbies and activities, just like I've said. Sometimes maybe this child used to play football so much, but all of a sudden, he does not want to go to the field. The poor performance, I think we talked about it the other time. The unexplained financial problems. Unaachwa pale kwa duka uuze kidogo.
Ulirudisha sentences. Na ujui kama ulirudisha.
Ama sasa mahesabu ikifanywa baadaye unaona kuna shortages pale. Missing out on family events. Those are some of the things that will tell that there is a problem. And then when these people don't get that particular drug, within a short time, they become irritable. So if you remove them from that particular environment, maybe for a week or so, they become irritable. You see there is something wrong with them, meaning there's something that they were using.
Madam Joyce, you've mentioned something concerning addiction.
Yes.
And yes, sometimes it can be addicted, but to which extent?
Addiction. Now, if we talk about addiction, let me just say this. Addiction, actually, the word addiction came from a Latin word. And the Latin word was enslaved by or bound by.
Yeah.
It actually comes from a Latin word.
Addiction.
Yeah, wow.
Yes. So addiction means that the drug has changed the brain.
Yeah.
The drug has changed the brain. The drug has changed the structure of the brain and how it works. And therefore, for the brain to operate in a relatively normal state, the person must continue to use the drug. That is what addiction relatively means. That someone has used the drug and the drug has kind of like affected their thinking. Now, I want to say that we don't only have addiction of drugs, like now when we are talking about weed, it's not only addiction to drugs, but we also have addiction to social media. We have children, even in the social media, sometimes you see them being sent in the social media, maybe TikTok or so. So a child is given a phone and they are calm. A child, when the phone is withdrawn, the child throws tantrums.
Yeah.
The child throws tantrums. I know of a family where they were telling me that their child, cries at night when they switch off the TV, cries completely, they don't want, the child does not want them to switch off the TV. What does that mean? They are addicted not to drugs, but to social media.
Yeah.
They are addicted not to drugs, but to internet. We discussed internet the other day. People are addicted even to gambling.
Yeah.
People are addicted to pornography. People are addicted to food. People are addicted to, there are non-substance addictions. Naona mkicheka nikisema people are addicted to food.
Madam Joyce, this thing addiction.
Yes.
Somebody might be there.
Yes.
Ametumia bang for let's say for a month. na ameitulia akasema let me take a break. Nimeacha. And after 6 months that particular person tena amerejelea. So anaichukua in breaks.
Now,
kuna effect?
Now, actually addiction is a brain disease. It's a relapsing brain disease. That it is a disease, you're addicted to a drug, and you may leave it for some time and go back to it, especially if you don't have proper resolve, and if you don't change your social environment, and if you don't change the pattern of your life, you don't change your friends, and so on. So addiction is a relapsing disease. That once someone is addicted to a certain drug, they can go back to it if they don't do anything about it. Now, I want us to understand about addiction. We call it a neurological disorder. It is a neurological disorder that affects the reward system in the brain. We have a reward system in our brains. A reward system. A reward system is that system that you when you do something, you feel good.
You feel good, yeah.
And then after some time, you want to repeat that again because it made you feel good. It made you feel good. So you want to go back there to do it again. Let me use an example of food. Food is very tasty, and some food particularly is very good. There is food that we eat so that we don't die. Si ati ni tamu sana, unakula tu. But there is food that when you eat, you feel like, hey, next time I
so
still
delicious.
Want to eat this again. So why? Because that food affects on the reward system. You eat that food, you feel very good. So tomorrow you want to go back there and eat it again. So this is what the drugs affect. They affect the reward system. So that when someone takes the drug, whichever drug, whether it's alcohol, whether it's whatever drug, it affects the reward system. They get the pleasure feeling, which is the dopamine. Remember we talked about the dopamine, the feel-good hormone, the feel-good neurotransmitter, the feel-good chemicals in the body. So it affects that. So someone feels like going back again and going back again and getting that kind of a feeling. So the feel-good hormone is affected by this drug, just like food, just like social interactions. There are friends also that you feel like when you don't see them, you feel like, I want to go and see so and so. Why? Because that relationship and that interaction affects or works on your reward system. You feel good when you are with them. So the reward system ensures that you reach out for that particular thing that is giving you joy. If it is food, you reach out for the food. If it is the drug, you reach out for the drug. If it is a friend, you reach back for a friend. You reach back for a friend. Now, I want to say that this reward system, I think, was put there by God for survival. It was put there by God for survival, if I can say so. The reason being, if you don't eat, you die. True or false?
Very true.
If you don't eat, you
die.
You die. Yeah. If you don't have sex, we will also die. You know why? Not because sex is important, but because sex makes you give birth to yourself. That's why some people or some organizations classifies as a basic need. It's classified as a basic need because when you have sex initially was meant for children or for procreation. So you have sex, you produce yourself. So when you die, you leave some people.
So bang, to some extent affects.
So bang now affects the system that gives reward for survival. The system that gives reward for survival. That's what it affects. So that the person who is taking weed feels like if they don't take it, they will actually maybe become sick. Things are not.
We are coming back exactly. It is getting more good. And dear listener, if you're joining us, this is 98.8 FM, Chuka Universe Radio. We are coming back, Madam Joyce. you are a director under career service.
Yes.
You've interacted with these people.
Yes.
Either wamekwambia directly ama wamekwambia. Utatuambia vile itakuwa ina affect career. But that's all it on. We are coming back 98.8 FM. Breakfast show.
Breakfast show.
Taking over the voice.
4 hours.
Jamani kitu gani? This is 98.8 Chacha Jackson pale social media. Chuka University Radio, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Na vile vile James Oshiro kijana ya Biblia.
Ungetaka kuchangia mjadala?
Nambari ya rafa ni 0114506611.
0114506611. Stay tuned, we're coming back in a short while. But sikiza kitu, Mungu Baba twaomba. Sikiza na saidia nchi yetu. Saidia watu wetu. Madam Joyce,
yes.
I had asked you something concerning career. Yes, you are a career director and you've interacted with these people. To how, to which extent matumizi ya bangu affect career ya mtu?
Okay. Use of drugs actually affects career. All types of drugs, in one way or another, they affect someone's career, because we have said already that like weed affects perception, how someone thinks, how someone reasons, how someone does their things, it affects. So definitely it will affect career, because the way you perceive about your roles, your duties that you have been given will not be the same, or it will keep on changing. It will keep on changing. As you start using, it will keep on changing. So your perception about your work, even the time you report, even the time you leave, even the way you do your work, it actually affects someone's career, the perception. Because of the perception, the changed perception. Slow thinking.
Yeah.
We say it slows coordination.
Yeah.
So if it slows coordination, like now, some of when you are in a room like this one and something is happening, by the time your mind tells you there is danger, you know, I mean, it has really gone.
Kama ni moto
exactly. So it affects thinking in the sense that it affects a career in the sense that there is slow thinking, there is slow coordination, you know. Then we have talked about poor hygiene. Yeah. Have you ever entered in an office and you wonder whether to stay or to open the windows and you are a visitor? Because the hygiene inside there is not really good. The way you dress, the way you portray yourself, the way you look at yourself, it really it leaves a lot to be desired. Yesterday I was watching this. There is a program, this one of Njorowa Uba. I don't know whether some of you watch it. I'm not marketing him, but I was watching Njorowa Uba, and I was watching a clip where Njorowa Uba was now carrying a lady, or had stopped somewhere in a parking, and the lady came running, entered in the vehicle and wanted to go away. Then a gentleman came. The gentleman was wearing some kind of dreads, chains, several chains, the rings, several rings, and then the way he had worn a jacket, then he had worn something inside that was not looking very good. So the lady was telling him, how can I come to introduce you to my friends and you come dressed like this? Are you getting? Yeah. Meaning he didn't dress according to the occasion. Yeah. He didn't dress according to the occasion. So the same way, if you are a career person, you need to dress according to the occasion. Yeah. But now weed and drugs will make you not to dress according to the occasion. There will be poor hygiene, laziness. It actually increases laziness. Where someone just feels like sitting, not doing anything, they become lazy, they become sloppy. Then you become irritable. Yeah. If you become irritable, you may fight with everybody in the office. Yeah. You may fight with everybody in the office for no good reason. Then there is obsessive thinking about the drug. So you may sit down after an hour, you want to go out. Yeah. After another hour, you want to go out. Or or a certain period of time, you want to go out and take the drug because you are obsessively thinking about the drug. Loss of control also. Then if you don't have enough money and you are exposed to money in your working place, you are likely to start stealing that money so that you can keep up using that particular drug. Yeah. So yes, weed and any other drug affects career.
Yeah, mimi niko hapa Madam Joyce.
Yes,
mimi
James.
Nikipiga si mimi hasa.
Lakini wewe.
Inaweza kuwa wewe tu.
Ndio. Mimi kwangu nikienda pale naweza piga chupa 3, 4 hivyo za bia. Chacha akikuja pale anapiga moja, anaanza
kuimba in mother tongue.
Msikilizaji, kumbuka ni mfano tu.
Huo ni mfano. Ni mfano ya kwamba kuna hiyo inaitwa drug tolerance. Inaitwa drug tolerance where like if I still use, okay, let me use the example that you have used, that initially when someone starts taking alcohol, they may, the first time they may take 1 bottle of beer and then they become drunk. The next time they may take 2 for them to become drunk. The following time they may take 3 for them to get the same effect. That is called drug tolerance, that your body is becoming tolerant to the drugs that you are using. If we use an example of weed, there are people who would take 1 puff and they cough and they don't take another puff. But now as time went on, they started taking 2 puffs, 3 puffs. Sasa wanamaliza msokoto moja. Na inaitwa Rizla. Na wanaendea ingine. That one is called drug tolerance, where someone increases the amount of the substance required to get the desired effect, to get the same desired effect. That is called drug tolerance. Now, drug tolerance is very dangerous because now it means you keep on increasing the quantity of drug. And the more you increase the quantity of drug, the more it affects you, and the more actually it can even kill you. It can even kill you. Have you ever heard of people we are told that they died of drug overdose?
Overdose.
They died of drug overdose. That's what tolerance does. It makes you desire more and more of that drug, and then finally it may end up killing you. People have died because of drug overdose. People have died because of excessive alcohol in the body because of tolerance. They want to get the desired effect, but they are not getting it. So they continue to increase the quantity of the drug, increase until finally their hearts stop.
Na kuna hiyo
or wana black, nyinyi mnaitaje ku blackout, kuchiu blackout, kuzima. Exactly, unazima. Unazima kwa nini? Because there is excessive alcohol in your body and your body organs shut down. Actually kuzima, that's what it means. Your body organs, to save themselves, zinajifunga na zinanyamaza.
Umekataa kujisaidia.
That is how now you get that's how now someone becomes gets a blackout. Blackout means your body organs are overwhelmed by the excess alcohol or the excess chemical in your body, and it shuts down. Then you just sleep.
Kwa hivyo vijana tuache kujiita viongozi ati juu unapiga 10 unajiua bala.
And then after that when it reaches now tolerance level, when someone withdraws, when someone stops, like you were saying, someone can stop for a week or so, and then they go back. When they stop, there are withdrawal symptoms. There are withdrawal symptoms they experience, and some of these withdrawal symptoms can even be death or life-threatening. So someone needs to go to a hospital for them to be able to be helped. So that they can be able to manage the withdrawal symptoms. So that is called drug tolerance. So if you see one person taking 2 beers and they are drunk, and another one taking 12, the one taking 12 has drug tolerance in their body, and it can affect him seriously.
Wow, you've talked about tolerance, Madam Joyce.
Yes.
And you mentioned about 2 beers, 12, more specifically now to bang.
Yes.
How much is too much bang?
How much is too much bang? I cannot say how much is too much bang because it's an illegal drug. So there is no too much. Actually,
if I take one,
even if you take one, even if you take a quarter, even if you take what, it is still too much because it is an illegal drug. So there is no way we can tell you take ka poison kadogo hapana. Alafu ulize hii poison what is too much, you know, if I take this rat what will be too much? No, it is a poison in your body. So irrespective, no matter what amount, it is not good for your body because it's an illegal drug.
There's a student listening
But
to you.
now for alcohol, there is a certain percentage that they talk about. Like they talk about a glass, you know, a glass of beer. A glass of beer, you take that glass for 1 hour. Don't gulp it. You take that glass for 1 hour. 1 glass of beer. Sit hapo, chat with the others, continue to sip, pole pole, 1 hour. You are sipping that 1 glass. But what do people do? Wanaenda pale wanawekewa tot kwanza, wanameza kitambo waseme, alafu ndo waseme sasa niuzie sasa. Niuzie. That is drug tolerance. That is drug tolerance. So we can't say too much is too much of an illegal substance. No. Too much is too much. It's not allowed. It is not, even a test of it is illegal and it should not happen. Yes.
Kulingana sasa na hii tolerance, na the how much, how is too much sasa. Hapo katikati kuna mahali unaweza sema ati hapa nikiwa nimefika hapa, for example tuseme ni pombe, unapiga glass moja saa hii, kesho unaenda unapiga 2. Yes, kwingine unaenda hivyo tu.
That is now drug tolerance again. And sasa, it will cause the same effect.
Sasa kuna mahali unaweza sema ati juu nimepiga moja leo na nataka kuacha hii pombe, yet I can be safe today. Usigoje tu ile wakati yenye utakuwa unapiga chupa 10 ama
There's something else I want us to look at.
Yes.
You mentioned something on Jero Wahuba and that the guy, I can imagine how the guy looks like. Now the societal acceptance, Madam Joyce.
Yes.
You understand how police have been treating these kind of people. I don't know whether it's misunderstanding them. Whenever I see you with dreads, nikiona dreadi ziko kwa kichwa, you are not well looking. I don't know how they define well looking, but whenever they see you with dreads, wana co-associate with bang or any other drugs. And now, Madam Joyce, you've been a career director and an advisor to this.
Yes.
What can you tell the society concerning this? Should these people be watengwe wachu because you are not accepted?
No.
Should we?
No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. You know, when initially that type of dressing or hair dressing came, when it first came, when it started appearing with those people that use drugs and those people of questionable character. That is how it appeared. But currently we have people that are sober people, people who have never touched weed, people who have never touched any drug, and they are setting their hairstyle like that. Actually, we even have children. We have children. We have parents who have decided, my child, I want him or I want her to have dreadlocks. You know, I want her to have dreadlocks or I want him to have dreadlocks. And so they start having the dreadlocks from the time they are young. Now, these children, they don't know anything to do with hii hairstyle ilikuwa ya watu gani. So they should not be victimized just because of they are wearing that kind of a hairstyle. Remember, even before, dreadlocks were for men. But now we have ladies having dreadlocks. So it has become a hairstyle. It has become a hairstyle, and it may have nothing to do with someone taking drugs or someone taking weeds. But initially when it came, it was associated with those people that are taking weed, those people that are taking drugs. But it is not like so anymore. So they shouldn't be harassed just for wearing a certain type of hairstyle. They
Especially
should not.
the security officers, you understand the
Yes, they should not. People. They should not be harassed just because they are wearing a hairstyle. Because initially, yes, that's how it came. But now, no. Now we have people that are quite okay and they are using or they are having dreads.
Now I'm in, madam.
Yes.
I have it. Way out.
Okay, way
How
out.
How can I get out?
Now, I want to say something. As we conclude, I want to say something. Human beings have natural need to bond. Human beings, generally human beings, they have a natural bond, a natural need to bond. They have a natural need to be with each other or with people that they love. They have a natural need to connect. They have a natural need to connect with people. So if you cannot connect, if you cannot bond, if you cannot be with people, you become isolated and you become traumatized because of that isolation or because of that situation that you are in, and therefore you look for something else that can fill in that void, can fill in the gap, can validate you. if I talk about it, maybe in the Christian light, that every human being is born as a spiritual being.
Yeah.
We actually, even the Africans, you know, the way Christianity came, and it came as if the Africans did not have religion before.
Yeah.
Africans had their own religion.
Yeah.
They had the African religion, and there's the way they used to practice it. Whether it was good or not, it is still okay, but they filled the void inside through that Christianity, that religion that they were practicing. So Christianity came, and the Christians are filling the void with that Christianity. Islamic religion came, the Islams are filling the void using that particular religion. So there is a void in us to connect, a void in us to bond, a void in us to be with people, and so on. When this lacks, then we look for anything to validate us. We look for anything to fill in that gap of connection, that gap of bonding, that gap of whatever. And incidentally, some of those things that people look for are like things like gambling. People go into pornography. People go into drugs and alcohol abuse. And therefore, this is what people follow. So people should pursue that connection. People should pursue the things that they love. People should pursue to fill that void inside them, to be able to connect, to fill the void inside them, to be with people that they love, so that they can actually keep off these habits that you cannot tell people. You cannot sit somewhere and tell, you know, I'm like this or like that. The way you are like that because you are feeling a void within you. So people should be able to identify what is it that they need. If they need to be with people, let them connect with people. If they need a religion or Christianity or Islam or whatever religion, let them practice it with zeal, and it will fill that particular void, and it will keep them off some of these negative effects. So what do? You surround yourself with positive people. That's what you need to do. Surround yourself with positive people to avoid the peer pressure, the negative peer pressure. Because the people you stay with are the people, you know, your association.
Show me your friends
and I
tell you your character.
Exactly. Show me your friends and I tell you your character. So if you work with people that are using weed, you will use weed. When I talk about surround yourself with positive people, let me talk about bashes and parties that youth also normally have. Actually, some of those parties and some of those bashes, innocent bash, innocent party, it turns up into a drug orgy. It turns out into an orgy of something else. So there are people who go there for those parties, very innocent. They go eat cookies. They go drink some juice, and the juice is laced with something else. The cookies are laced with something else. So surround yourself with positive people. Otherwise, you may go eat these cookies, then you go away tomorrow, unarudi hapo kwa hiyo nyumba kusema, zile cookies ulikuwa nazo jana ziko ziko wapi, you see? And then find new hobbies. Find new hobbies that are interesting, that you can be able to keep and follow. Do a lot of exercise. Actually, exercise is very, very good, because it helps you wear off some of these negative pressures. So exercise, do a lot of exercise, volunteer and give back to the community if you are able to volunteer. Then talk about it, share with people, go talk about it. Like we have counselors, we have people that can listen to you, share with even your parents, share with even, you know, your sisters, your brothers, that can help you, that can be able to help you. Open up and talk about it. Eat well, a well-balanced diet will also help you. And meditate even on the word of God, or meditate on your life. You know, you can sit down and think, maisha yangu inaendaje, inaendaje, you know, you just meditate and seek professional help. It is there. You can be able to be helped in one way or another. So let's talk about it, let's meditate about it, let's seek professional help.
Usijinyamazie msikilizaji, hiyo ni baadhi ya mambo ambayo Madam Joyce anazidi kukwambia. There is hope. And there is light at the end of the tunnel.
There are people that just wake up in the morning. Okay, they sleep and they wake up in the morning and they say, enough is enough. And it is done.
Madam, enough
the will, they have strong will that they just wake up in the morning and they say, enough is enough.
I had a friend.
Yes.
Na nisikujiwe na polisi.
Yes.
Alikuwa anatumia.
Yes.
And now the problem inside a problem.
Yes.
Ili affect akakuwa a gambler through bang.
Okay.
He wasn't a gambler. It is because of bang that he became
a gambler.
A concrete gambler.
Okay.
Lakini sasa bang akalala the same case. Akaamka akasema it is normal. Mimi siwezi kunywa bang.
Yes.
But now what came as a result of bang ni gambling.
So gambling remained.
Yeah. Gambling remained.
Gambling
now,
remained.
A problem inside a problem.
A
concrete problem coming up with another concrete problem.
Yeah.
What happened?
The goodness is he can still wake up in the morning and say, enough
is it really the case?
Yes. It's really the case. You only need to take stock. By the way, life is about taking stock. Take stock. See what is it that has come as a result of this,
Is it beneficial?
Is it beneficial or is it not beneficial? And then take a stock of the gambling. What is it? Gambling, it actually addicts you because it gives you a little reward here and there. Ukimuuliza kwa nini ana bet, anaweza kukwambia si hata jana niliwin 500 shillings ama niliwin 1000 ama niliwin this. That's reward system. The reward system, all of a sudden anapata ka reward pale, anafurahia, anarudi pale, anapata ka reward kengine kadogo and so on. But akikaa chini take stock, how much time, how much money, how many friends he has lost because of this gambling, then he will be able to wake up in the morning and to say enough is enough.
Ningependa siku moja tuzungumze kuhusu gambling.
We shall be talking
we can talk about gambling. By the way, we can talk about gambling.
Watu wengi sana.
We can talk about
next Tuesday.
We can talk about next Tuesday. It's okay.
All right, msikilizaji, usicheze mbali, gambling there we come next Tuesday. Jamani, stay with us. This 98.8 FM Chico University. Madam Joyce, thank you very much. Your last word tukimalizia.
Thank you. My last word is that there is hope. There is hope. Number one. And then number two, irrespective of how many people are using weed or are using drugs, a drug is a drug and it affects your body. It affects your body. It affects your body cells. It doesn't matter how many people are using it. The effects will surely arrive one day. Yes.
It is never too late.
It's never too late. There is hope.
Ipo tumaini, lipo tumaini msikilizaji. Ndugu yangu Washira.
Hata mimi naweza ongeza niseme, no matter how many countries will legalize it. No matter how many people will see
it is still a drug. Mpaka ile siku wa separate. Watuambie haka ka chemical nikale wanasemanga ka medicinal. Haka kengine nika hii na hii. Ndio sasa ukienda pale kwa counter unasema mimi nataka haka kengine ka medicinal. Ninataka.
Oh my. Asante sana Madam Joyce.
Thank you.
Let's meet next Tuesday talking about
Tuesday.
Gambling. Usicheze mbali msikilizaji. Maswali yaje. Jitayarishe msikilizaji.